Hey everybody, welcome back to another business analysis video. In today's video, I want to talk about meetings. Speaking up in meetings, as business analysts, we find ourselves in a lot of meetings, whether we're doing requirements elicitation, whether we're doing workshops, and I feel that it can be daunting. In one of my videos, I spoke about confidence and how to build confidence as a business analyst. So this kind of comes into that confidence area. So this is why I chose this topic, how to speak up in meetings. And I chose this because it really reflects on me as well, especially when I first started in business analysis. So yeah, have you ever had experiences where you feel nervous speaking in meetings, and sometimes you second guess yourself, second guess your ideas, even though you know that they're valid, and sometimes also, do you find yourself having a shaky voice? Does your voice shake when you finally try to speak up during meetings? Trust me, you're not alone. It happens to so many people, not just us business analysts, not just new business analysts. It happens, and there are so many reasons why it happens. So if this happens to you, you're not alone, right? Speaking up in meetings as a business analyst can feel intimidating, but it's a crucial skill that we have to develop as business analysts. So today I'm going to share with you my personal journey and practical tips that can help you to contribute confidently in meetings. So I remember when I first started as a business analyst, when I'm in meetings, I had so many thoughts, so many ideas, but I always hesitated to share them. I think it's because I was afraid of being wrong or looking inexperienced, or I was afraid of someone questioning my knowledge. So I would sit in the meetings, nodding my head, nodding along, and take notes, even when I had valuable things to add. But it really held me back more than I realized, right? So one of the biggest turning points for me was when I was in contract role. And my contract was about to end. Not necessarily in the contract role. Generally, when I'm about to leave an organization, moving on to another organization, something always shifted at the end, and I think it's very psychological. I would no longer have the fear of messing up. I would no longer have that fear of intimidation, right? Because I had nothing else to lose, and the moment I spoke up more, the moment I challenged ideas and confidently contributed, people listened. And that's when I realized, confidence isn't about knowing everything, right? It's about trusting what you do know and then being open to learning what you don't know. So, like I said, in my experience, at the end of a contract or when I've handed in my notice and looking to move on to another organization, I start to feel like, okay, what's the worst that could happen? I'm going to challenge them. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to ask questions because I'm leaving anyway, right? So even if I ask a stupid question, it's like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to ask anyway. So as I started to notice that in myself, I was like, why do I only have that confidence when I'm leaving and not when I'm in the job? Now, this is another area of working 9 to 5, working in corporate, and working for other people. Really, you would always have that fear. Now, when I do my YouTube videos, I like to be honest and open with you all. So as much as I enjoy my job, as much as I enjoy doing business analysis, the 9 to 5 isn't always the best, right? And as much as I speak about 9 to 5, is not just owning a business or being an entrepreneur. Also comes with its challenges. So it's just about finding balance. So as much as I don't necessarily enjoy the 9 to 5, having that set time and following someone else's rules, the challenge there always comes, and I'm sure some of you can also relate, like with the fear of disappointing your employers, with the fear of not meeting the performance that they've set for you. and the fear of eventually losing your role or losing your job because you have not met those set performance targets, for instance. I don't know about you all, but yeah, I would always have that in my mind, that I have to deliver. I feel intimidated by these people, by these heads of and directors, or managers, that I hold myself back from speaking. I hold myself back from asking questions because I don't want to come across as stupid or inexperienced or not know what I'm talking about. So for me, that's what I've done my personal analysis on the reason why I don't speak in meetings. However, I spoke to a mentee yesterday. This is why I'm doing the video, actually. She's having issues with speaking up. She's a new business analyst and she's struggling with speaking up in meetings. However, she's very different from me, as I'm introverted. So you still have those personality type of traits that sort of prevent me. I'm speaking from my own experience now. And you might relate, right? But this person that I'm mentoring, she's very outgoing. She's extroverted. She can speak up. She can challenge ideas. She even challenges me when I'm mentoring her, right? So she's kind of struggling because she had never had that fear prior. She could speak up in meetings, but what happened to her was I think somebody challenged her views or her ideas, and she couldn't justify those ideas. She couldn't provide figures or significant details or information to explain her ideas. And I think this was like in the presence of other people during the meeting. So it kind of brought her confidence down a little bit. And in the next following meetings, she struggles to speak up because of what happened in the prior meetings. So that this was her issue. Now, as much as I do mentorship, these are the sort of issues that I experience also with mentees. It's not only about, how to become a business analyst or how to write this document or how to perform business analysis on a challenging project. It could be anything relating to your 9 to 5, relating to work life, relating to your personal life that impact your work life, right? So this is one area also that could impact you speaking up, or that could set back your progress, right? So what I told her was that, yes, you've identified that, so let's take next steps. Let's visualize how or remember how we were in the past before this person challenged us, right? Anyway, there's so much work to do there, but I'm sharing this so that you can see other scenarios that could challenge you, or that could prevent you from speaking up, or that could prevent you from being confident. A once confident person could become less confident because of certain scenarios or certain experiences that they have, or certain situations. It's just about identifying it and looking at ways to move forward from it. And yeah, going back to being able to challenge ideas, to speak up, right? And just to be confident in general. So these are the two key areas, right? My personal story that I gave was like, I find that I can just speak up when I'm leaving, and I take that as a lesson to every organization that I work in, that, why do I always speak up when it's time to leave? Right? Let me set my mind frame in that same way, so that throughout my time in the organization, I speak up, I find the value of the project, But yeah, what other reasons could prevent you from speaking up? Another thing for me is determine whether you are more confident with people that you know or with new people. So there's that area of confidence as well. Some people are more confident and speak up more when they have built relationships and they know the person, whereas other people are more confident when they don't know the person, yes, when they don't know the person, there's nothing much to disappoint there. You haven't built a relationship, so you can easily just speak up and ask. So those are the two areas. For me, I think is when I know the person, then I'm able to actually speak up and ask them questions, because like we've built a relationship. But if I don't know you, I struggle a little bit to question, to challenge you, to ask, right? Some people are better on one area than the other. So when you think of it, the longer you spend in the organization, you're then able to speak up and challenge people and ask questions, right? So how exactly can you then start to move on from these challenges, right? Speaking up in meetings with confidence, right? So here are some strategies that worked for me, and I hope they can work for you as well. Now, I always talk about preparation a lot. In everything that you do, you want to prepare. So number one is prepare before the meeting, right? If you're unsure about speaking up, preparation is key generally, right? Try to review the meeting agenda, jot down key points or questions that you want to ask, and be ready to contribute when you start or join the meeting, right? The second strategy is to start small. Okay, maybe begin by asking clarifying questions or summarizing what's been said prior. This shows that you're engaging. This shows your engagement, and it builds your confidence without putting pressure on you to have all the answers, right? Maybe just speak up by summarizing. You don't always have to ask questions in meetings. A third strategy is to practice outside of the meetings, right? So if speaking up feels overwhelming for you, try practicing in lower stakes settings, right? Like in informal discussions or one-to-one conversations with your colleagues. Now, I have an existing video on how to build confidence as a business analyst. So that could also help you in determining how to build confidence in general. But for me, one other way that I started to like speak up more, not just in meetings but generally with my colleagues and in project settings, is putting myself out there really. Again, as an introvert, I'm a homebody. I just like to stay at home. I don't like to go out. I don't like to meet people. I don't like to interact. It just takes too much energy for me. But in identifying that in this career path, I need to speak up. I need to be able to approach people. I need to be able to build relationships. I had to throw myself in settings and situations that I will be challenged and I'll be forced to speak up. So one way to do this is by networking. I know I've spoken about networking before, existing videos on networking and meeting people. And it doesn't have to be a professional networking environment, right? I joined swim lessons, right? And I would go to other non-career related networking events, such as yoga shows. You all know that I'm a qualified yoga instructor. So going to yoga shows, teaching yoga in front of hundreds and hundreds of people and speaking up, right? And walking to people and adjusting them during my yoga classes. Those have helped. Taking the yoga courses have helped me to meet other yogis as well, be able to speak in small group settings. It has really, really helped me in my confidence in general, not just in my career. Joining swim lessons, like I said, meeting other people, doing the swimming lessons as well, being able to speak to them, what do they do for a living, and all those various things. So it's helped me to really, really put myself out there. Also going on retreats. I've gone on various retreats for my hobbies, related to my hobbies. I do hula hooping. I do hula hoop instructing as well. I'm going on these retreats. I'm meeting people from different areas of the world. I feel that these are things that I've done throughout my lifetime in understanding and in identifying that I'm introverted and I generally don't like to speak to people. But in order for me to grow in my career and to add value, I have to come out of my shell and do these things. This takes me back also. I know I'm kind of waffling on a little bit, but today I want to talk. So it takes me back to when I was younger. Even in secondary school and primary school, where the teacher asked you to come out to the front of the class and read a book. That was my worst fear. I just could never do it. I remember one time I was in primary 4 We were learning how to write letters, and I wrote the letter, and I think the teacher really liked mine, and he asked me to come to the front of the class and read it, and I was like shaking and tears down my face, and if I was seated at my desk and asked to do it, I would, because like I'm surrounded by all my friends and all the other students. But to stand in front of the class, it was just performance anxiety. That's what it was. It happened also to me in secondary school once. No, this one was a bit much. My Yoruba teacher asked me to come and read the Yoruba book in front of the class, and I couldn't do it. The same thing happened again to me, performance anxiety. So I identified from a young age that I've always had performance anxiety. And in order for me to grow in my career, in the world, as a parent, you have to beat this performance anxiety, So I had to place myself in front of crowds. I had to find situations where I place myself purposely in front of crowds and speak up, right? Speak up in large. When I think about it, it's like, how did I do it? How? Start small. Like I said in the first strategy, start small. By meeting small groups of people, 2 to 3 people, whether it's friends or, just try to put yourself out there. Just try to put yourself out there is what I'm saying. If you've identified an area of weakness, please, if you want to become a business analyst or you want to work in corporate, you just have to do it. That's just what you just have to do. So this then takes me to my 4th strategy, which is reframe your fear. Instead of worrying about saying something wrong, right? Think of speaking up as adding value. Your perspective matters, and often others are thinking the same question, but you are also too nervous to ask. So what happens is that you have that question and you want to ask it, and you're holding yourself back, and before a few seconds somebody else has asked the exact same question, and then you're like, I should have asked that question because I've been so quiet in the meeting. It seems like I'm not contributing, and then you're putting more fear in yourself. Just ask. As business analysts, we ask the stupidest questions ever, right? Just ask it. It doesn't matter. You're contributing, you're adding value, you're clarifying what somebody else is also thinking, right? One thing that helps me is when I feel that, this question might be stupid because everybody already knows the process, or everybody already knows what this case is or what this scenario is. But that's me making an assumption that, everybody knows what they're talking about. But me, I'm lost. As a business analyst, I'm lost. I'm trying to get the information. I'm trying to clarify the knowledge. So what I say is, this question might come across as stupid, but this is my question, A lot of times they're like, oh no, that's not a stupid question. That's a very valid question, because we're all people. We have to be kind. If you work with kind colleagues, hopefully, they should be able to help you feel at ease when you're asking your questions. But I don't always do that. I just generally would just say, actually, and then I ask my question, or I challenge to say, actually, I think it's this way though. I may or may not be right, but I think this is what the situation should be. And then they can challenge me back and clarify, or they accept my challenge, right? So just do it. Now, the 5th strategy is to use nonverbal cues, right? By nodding, right? Nodding your head, making eye contact, leaning forward to show that you're engaged, right? So when the moment feels right, use that energy to contribute verbally. Now, I know that a lot of us are remote workers now, so how do you do that? Sometimes your camera is switched off, right? But this will mainly be impactful when your camera is on. For me, I move closer to the camera. They can see my head is getting bigger, in the screen, because I'm trying to, show that, okay, yeah. Or actually, I'm contributing, or like I'm moving closer, and they can see that, I'm eager to listen. I'm eager to learn and not be distracted, right? So use your emotional cues, use your voice cues as well, and I hope that helps. So the sixth strategy for me, again, is to always follow up after the meeting, right? If you didn't get a chance to speak, or maybe you were too nervous, try to follow up with an email or a message to share your thoughts afterwards. This will keep you involved, and it will also help you to build confidence for next time. So again, it depends if you're the meeting host, right? Or if you're joining someone else's meeting. Still go back and clarify, whether it's via Teams messages or via email. If you haven't clarified something, or you would rather clarify it with one person directly, try to do that as well. It will help you to build your confidence, and it will help you to gain more clarity about what you were trying to uncover in the meeting. So confidence in meetings really is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about knowing when and how to contribute effectively in the meeting. So for me, once I started speaking up, I noticed that people actually respected my input, right? I realized that I was just holding myself back more than anyone else was. So if you're ever struggling with speaking up, please remind yourself that it's a skill that gets better with practice. Everything gets better with practice anyway. So every time you push yourself a little out of your comfort zone, you will grow, right? It's okay to start small. What matters is that you actually start. I hope these tips really help you to feel more comfortable speaking up in meetings, as a business analyst, as a career person, in your personal life as well. So now I'd like to hear more from you. What's one thing that you've done to build confidence in meetings? Please share it in the comment section below. I read every single one and I respond to every single one. So if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss future videos on business analysis and career growth. Remember, your voice matters. Your perspective adds value. Please keep practicing, keep growing, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.